If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do-or-die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCoe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so as a guy that recruited, knew the college world intimately.
Not that intimately.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
That can be taken a different way in college basketball.
Yeah, I know.
I'll leave it there.
Enough said. So when you're looking at the this 5-for-5 thing that I think is going to happen, it's just a matter of how they're going to implement it. So the Division I Board of Directors directed the Division I Cabinet to advance an age-based eligibility concept that, if adapted in its current form, would permit students up to 5 years of eligibility, beginning with the academic year after they turn 19 or graduate from high school, whichever happens earlier. Students would then not be limited to 4 seasons of competition, but they would have 5 to play 5. Now, there'd be no injury waivers. There'd be none of that other stuff going on. It's like, look, you got 5 years, you can play 5 years. You got 5 years to play 5. After that 5, you're done. None of this 7, 8-year nonsense. We're going to give you an extra year to be able to play your game. But after that, that's it. And I know a lot of coaches are in favor of this in theory. But the problem is, if this passes, you're going to have somebody like, look, I'll use Utah State, for example. You got a guy that, like Mason Falslev, who is currently at Utah State playing his senior year. He would be given another year. And that's another year of revenue-generating material because he took a redshirt year, but he also would have an extra year of eligibility because he would have 5 years of eligibility allowed to him. But then you'd have a guy like, let's say, MJ Collins or, these guys that ran out of eligibility this past season. They're like, no, we're starting it now. So you guys, you're SOL. But if you're currently in school and you currently have eligibility, you get to add another year to that. Well, that just means that those guys that are screwed over are going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to lawyer up because I want to get my year. How come they get a year, but I don't get a year just because of the year I was born? That doesn't seem right to me. Because my eligibility's done, I deserve that extra year. Well, then you're going to have, let's say they sue and win. Then you're going to have the guys that were 2 or 3 years ago like, well, I want my extra year. Why don't I get my extra year? And now you just see the dominoes of lawsuits that are just going to follow one after the other, and injunctions. And ultimately, it's just the guys making the billable hours that end up winning this thing. But in theory, let's forget about all how you implement it. Do you like the 5-for-5?
Yeah, I like it. But again, it's how it's rolled out. If they decide to do it and, basically grandfather everybody in or make exceptions as they always do with some and not others, the problem is most guys have their roster pretty much done. And, there would be all of a sudden all this new commodities on the market that weren't on the market when you filled your team. Contracts have been signed and sent out, and so it would be chaos. So however they do it, I hope they just settle on something. And the NCAA the last few years has been missing in action. Like, I don't know if they threw a thing on the outside of that big building in Indianapolis, has gone fishing. But, the crazy part, too, as a part of this proposal, I was reading that they really intend to jump into tampering because it's been such a huge issue. And I like this wording. The school would need to demonstrate the violation did not occur to avoid penalties. So, you flip the guilty till proven innocent thing on its head, and or innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, it's the opposite of that.
It's the opposite of that. And that's how the NCAA always has been. That's why they follow people around and, go to people's stores and say, was a purchase made on this day? They're like, they're Paul Blart. NCAA, they ride segways and enforce the law in a very, very inconsistent and unfortunate manner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would know more than anybody on that one.
Hold it, sir. I paid for this. That guy over there, he just stole half the... I'm sorry, I'm focused on you, sir. That's the NCAA.
Yeah. And honestly, what they did to Dave Rose is unforgivable, honestly.
Yeah, but go down the list. I mean, it's like Tark always said, North Carolina makes a mistake, Long Beach State gets slapped.
Yeah. They're so mad at Alabama that Georgia State just got dinged.
Hey, maybe the NBA is just following the college law.
That's a good point.
Slap the little guy.
But, I think you bring up a good point, and I think it was some coach who mentioned this, that, like, I've already spent my NLI money.
Right.
Like, I'm out. Like, I had my money, I spent it, it's all allocated. So imagine if this goes through and they allow guys that just lost their year of lost eligibility to gain another year. Let's just say Richie Saunders goes back to BYU and like, hey, guys, guess what? I get to go. I want my $5 million. And they're like, yeah, I don't have your money because we didn't think you were going to be here. I know, but I'm back, so let's go. I want to make some money, which I would if I were him.
Somebody call the cookie guy.
Yeah, like, we're going to need to sell some more of those sugar cookies because we got to make some money.
Storming? Oh, no, we just need some money. Whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
I write it in frosting.
Yeah.
My frosting pen.
We'll come back on the cream cheese filling for a little bit, and we'll find a way to make it work. But honestly, there's a lot of schools that would find a way to make it work. BYU, I'm sure would, but there's a lot of other schools that would be like, hey, man, we would love to have you back, but we've got no more. Like Utah State, MJ Collins, like, hey, guess what? I just won you an NCAA tournament game. I scored 20 against Villanova, and I'm back. So
somebody's got to go.
Pay that man his money.
Well, I lived that. We weren't talking about NIL and money, but we were at that point, the scholarship spot was, about as good as you could get at BYU. Mm-hmm. There wasn't any extra benefits. But there were times where a guy would say, I'm going to go on a mission.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd get into the summer and like, I don't think I'm going to go now.
Yeah, like, that girlfriend and I, she wants me to stay, so I'm going to stay.
Or many other reasons, but that was always a big one. But then, you've gone out and got guys in the fall to accept those positions.
Yeah.
And so you've got a real issue on your hand because that guy's coming back. He's your guy, but the plan changed and you got to figure it out. We dealt with that a few times.
Or even a guy that is out on a mission for a year and decides, you know what, I'm not feeling this and I want to come back home but I'm ready to play. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm sure that there would be the wording on this. You have 5 years after you graduate high school or turn 19, and I'm sure that there would be some waiver in there for an LDS mission or church service or military service or something along those lines. You're not going to lose 2 years of eligibility because you went on a mission. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. I know some people were kicking that up yesterday. NCAA, for all of its issues, has been pretty good in terms of working around missionary service. Yeah,
and always will.
Yeah.
They understand what that is. I think it's a good system. I think, losing that year of traditional redshirt, but gaining on the job experience, being able to get that extra year of playing if you can stay healthy. And the way injuries happen too, it's an opportunity to make sure you get, those 5 years to play, at least 4 of them. And I think if they can pass it and they can make sense of the way they release it, then I think it'll be all right.
And it comes back to the implementation, though. And the problem is, I think the NCAA realizes, all right, we screwed up. We could have modernized what we were doing a long time ago, but we stuck our heads in the sand and we screwed up. I think Charlie Baker absolutely knows the NCAA just completely dropped the ball over the last 25 years. And so I think deep down they're like, we want to modernize this. We want to make this work. But the problem is you're so far along in the process now, there's no equitable way to make it happen. Because whatever you do, you're going to tick off somebody. And that somebody out there is going to have 10 lawyers calling them up like, did you see what the NCAA did to you? I'll take it on right now. Let's go. And so you got lawyers smelling blood in the water. And so there's really no way to find a way to get that reset. Like you want to, like when you're playing the old NES back in the day and you're upset and you're like, all right, I'm losing Tecmo Bowl. I'm going to hit reset before the game ends so that it'll start all over again. You don't get to do that with the NCAA. Like they would love nothing more than like, all right, we just want to burn it all down and pretend nothing in the past happened and start right now. But obviously you can't do that. So there's no way to find a way to make that work.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and you mentioned one of the biggest things that causes the slowdowns is the litigious nature of it all.
Yeah,
I mean, you offend one, you offend many, because everybody kind of sees how the NCAA handles something, and then they try to streamline their argument the same way, and people get through hurdles that way. So, yeah, it's going to take some thought as to how to release it, but the time is now. They got to figure out a way to more. I guess meet the needs of everybody involved. Right now, it just seems like it's a free-for-all, and there's no loyalty. It's impossible to build teams. I mean, that's not the way this was all set out in the beginning. All
right, so I'm always curious to know. So, would the NCAA would they make like yearly visits? Like, what was the interaction like on not a day-to-day basis, but just overall with the NCAA in terms of dealing with them as a coach?
We dealt with them very little. I mean, honestly, if the NCAA was involved, it wasn't good.
So no news is good news.
Yeah, and honestly, you do all of this stuff you do, all of the permissions and all of the, everything that you intend to do with a recruit. Like on a recruiting visit, you literally submit the visit itself and where you're having dinner and how far you're going to travel, and all that has to be mapped out, and you give that to your compliance officer. The compliance officer really at the university serves as the liaison between the school and the NCAA, and that's the way you want it. If there are issues, then they start to poke around.
So the compliance guy is the bad cop at the university?
Some people see it that way. To me, it was like get to know that person inside and out, find out, the best way to approach, because they have all the knowledge. We have a base knowledge, but they're into the details. So I tried to spend a lot of time in compliance office because you want to understand the rules. You don't want to shortchange yourself, and you also don't want to overstep your bounds.
It's like getting in good with the equipment guy.
Yeah, that is a must at every place.
Yeah. People don't understand. The one guy that has probably the best job in an athletic department is the equipment manager because everybody's kissing up to him.
Yeah, they have the keys to that closet everybody wants to get into.
Yeah, and maybe while you're getting to know the compliance officer, maybe you can find some dirty laundry to hold against the compliance
don't think
officer.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a whole file on Chad Gwilliam.
Yeah, okay.
Watching you, Gwilly.
Oh, man. I've been around coaches that just absolutely just curse their compliance guy. And then other guys like, hey, no, this dude saved our bacon.
He saved our bacon. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great. We used him as a resource, not as a, somebody to. Now, I'm that way with the NCAA, but he takes all the heat. I can put him. He's forward facing, as they say.
So when I'm sure you've sat down and been interviewed by the NCAA, or have you had to go? Oh, okay.
Nope.
I'm always curious to know what those are like. Is it just like some pencil pushing nerd like, oh, so you bought him donuts?
A bright light.
You're like, so where? I see this receipt for a Dr. Pepper. Are you sure that you also didn't buy a hot dog to go along with that and didn't report it? Like, I could just see these dudes just being like the worst of the worst.
Okay, how much pastrami is on a Crown Burger? Because I need to go back to that date and see market rate for pastrami,
Because I think he may have gotten
you've
2 more
gotten
ounces.
undercharged, and so that was an unlawful violation on your part for accepting that much roast beef. I mean, that's as stupid as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. That's your reality. That's what you guys were dealing with. The old Rick Majerus buying kid breakfast or buying donuts or at a film thing. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, and PK was breaking all those stories.
Which Rick loved, I'm
him.
sure.
He hated him so bad. I've told PK this, but he would just, you see that guy from New Jersey, he got those big
From New Jersey.
those big glasses. He was rivaling Harry Carey back in the day.
Oh, PK was rocking the big spectacles.
Yeah, he needed to get some windshield wipers on those bad boys.
Me and PK. This was one of the first endorsements I ever did. Was LASIK. This is like back in 2007, 2008.
I was jealous. It's like, I can't afford it. I want to get it.
I got LASIK done, and PK got it done, and they wanted to do DJ, but DJ's like, no way. Like DJ wanted no part of that because he's like, one bad little nick and then you're blind. I'm like,
laser.
Yeah, laser
Can't
beams.
see the teleprompter. What am I doing?
I got to be able to read that thing.
Gotta be able to read.
I'm going to look for an old photo. I swear his glasses were bigger than they needed to be.
I could see that. Look, those newspaper guys. Now he's evolved out of that, and now he's,
Dude, I'm telling you though, what a good dude.
Oh, he's the best.
He's misunderstood, but his shtick
Who are
is
we talking about?
PK.
Oh.
Don't you feel like he's a good guy?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not in the.
No. I think Patrick Kinahan is genuinely one of the best dudes that I've worked with, and people I tell people that all the time, and I almost feel bad saying it because I'm like, I don't want people to know that he's actually a pretty genuinely good human being because people want to not like him, but behind the scenes, the guy's actually a really good dude. The guy you got to watch out for is DJ. Like DJ's, everybody thinks he's the nice guy. DJ will ground you into powder and just go like Kaiser Sosa. Like,
I feel like I'm in the hot seat every time I'm with him.
with DJ or PK?
With DJ.
Yeah.
Just firing questions at me. And they're very extensive, Are you happy that the Mammoth fought so hard and came back?
With DJ, you have to be like, where are you coming from?
Are you B, mystified at how that happened? Or C, all of the above?
He and I do a Utah State podcast every week, and we had the athletic director on yesterday, and he was grilling the AD, and I could see he was like, "Ooh, my guy's getting after me here. This is not your normal Scotty G interview where I'm just lobbing softballs at the guy for 20 minutes. DJ was coming in with
I thought I was on the flagship station.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Where were you?
Hey, I just did it. I'm trying to find a picture of Patrick, but did you guys know that there is such a thing as a Kinahan cartel in Ireland?
Oh,
and this
wow.
guy happens to look like he could be related to our guy. So I think we should speak lightly of Sir PK. He may be in the witness protection
Well, I
program.
mean, look, the guy had mob ties in New Jersey. And,
I mean, that could be Uncle Buck
right there. Absolutely.
This is eerie.
All right. Coming up next, he is the general manager of the Utah Mammoth. It is Bill Armstrong next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for our weekly conversation with the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single? Do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series. Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
It's time to hear from the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, on your exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
So, Bill, I'm having a hard time. You know, we're technically in the media, so we're not supposed to have biases, but I'm all in on your team. I loved watching what you guys have done. So I think I represent a lot of fans out there that we're all recovering from a bit of a gut check from last night. So how do you process what happened last night, and how do you get back into a groove and make sure that you can put that behind you?
Well, you got to stay even keel in this up and down, playoff full of emotions. And, it's for us on this side, you can't get too up, too down. And that's the old cliche, but it's true. Try to just always remember that you weren't as good as you thought you were in the win, and you weren't as bad as you thought you were in the loss. And then, we go to work the next day, get up and go to work the same way every day and just attack it. It's for us on this side, it's, hey, listen, we knew Vegas a tough team. They're a good team. They're not rolling over. So, it's a punch in the face competition. And, last night we didn't get everything that we wanted out of that game. I love the way that we fought back in that game, and we didn't roll over.
What do you feel like the key, Bill, was to that comeback? Was it just having something go right and then building off that momentum, or did you see something major league change?
Well, that's a little bit of maturity on our players. A few years ago we wouldn't have been able to do that. And stay with it. We would have got all frustrated and taken dumb penalties and done all those little bad things. But the maturity of our players, the leaders that we have on our team, keep us focused and keep us going the right way in those tough times. And everybody's just like one shift at a time. We're going to find a way to score. Let's get her going. And they were good. The group stuck together. They never, they found ways to score, different ways to score, and just kind of fed off the momentum of the crowd. It was just crazy there last night. As soon as the first goal went in, I felt like we were going to score a whole bunch more, because just I don't know. It's incredible at the Delta Center. I mean, it just the fan base there with the towels and the music, and it gets pumping and we get rolling. It just gave us so much energy to fight back last night. So hats off to our fan base. It was incredible. Maybe the best in the NHL. I know it's the loudest, that's for sure.
Well, there's no doubt. And the environment for games 3 and 4 were just incredible, just off the charts. And you knew it was going to be that way. But when you see your team show that resiliency to come back from down 0-3, you take the lead 4-3. Is it sometimes as a young player learning how to, because we talk about dealing with adversity, but also dealing with prosperity and learning how to finish off a game when you fought back and took the lead instead of giving up that late goal?
Oh, there's a lot of learning last night, that's for sure. I think, when you're in those moments of the grind, and sometimes it feels like you're losing, or you take the lead and all of a sudden you're not used to playing with the lead in that game. There's a whole bunch of learning in there for sure. And I think our team kind of adapts as we move forward. We've got a lot of good leadership, and there's about 50% of our team that's got real good playoff experience. They help us kind of navigate those moments. But I liked our team. It didn't end the way we wanted, but the fight was there, and they played the right way. And we'll always live with our team when we play hard. We play the right way, good things will happen. And if a mistake happens, we'll live with that all day long.
One of the things I find interesting is, coaching for 23 years, you get caught up in the moment some, and it's really good to have vision, and be able to stay even keel, like you said. Yeah. In this moment, this is a hard fought series, and one that, the greedy part of us all, we want to win this thing and play more hockey. At the same time, how valuable is this experience for these young guys to go through?
Well, it's huge for our team to kind of get in there, and we've got a lot of guys like Simashev and Boot, and we bring in some of our kind of our high-end prospects to watch some of the games that we play too. So it's hugely valuable just to get into it. We're forming a culture, and that's what it's about when you're here in Utah. You're going to fight to the end. You're going to fight for everything. And as we start to move through these playoffs for the first time, the culture even becomes stronger, and we try to make sure all our young guys are watching it too, just to see the fan base go crazy in that building and playing the right way in those big moments in playoffs. It helps. It's a lot of learning, but it's a lot of growth. And at the end of the day, we want to be a team that's in it every single year, swinging for the fences and trying to win a cup.
Did you immediately catch the offsides, or were you like everybody else? We're like, oh, wait a minute, we got to go back and look at this.
I was like, we have in the GM box, we have a TV, and we have somebody reading the plays, and they'll say, like, listen, good goal, and then you're okay, well, it's a good goal. They've checked the offside. They've checked the goalie interference. They can't see anything. It came up good goal. So I was halfway out the door. And they're like, whoa, there's a different angle on this one. I think it's offside. I was like, wow, we got a second life here. So that was pretty unbelievable. We were able to get the offside and challenge it and go back to work. But we got a second chance at life there last night.
What do your eyes tell you about the things that you probably need to deal with the most to win the series?
Well, for us is keep making adjustments, small little adjustments. We pounded them pretty good with our physicality last night. We put a lot of pressure on their D. We got a lot of turnovers. It felt like we did a lot of good things. We could score some goals. I think some of the stuff that we have to make sure we do better is move the puck better, be more effective at getting up the ice and make clean plays coming out. So it's tic-tac-toe, moving up that ice. Our bread and butter is off the rush, with the speed of Logan Cooley and Keller and Smoltz. And if we don't move the puck clean coming out of our zone, we got a hard time building our speed through the neutral zone. So those are probably some of the key aspects we got to kind of focus on and improve on to go into Vegas and kick some butt here.
I know you weren't able to turn it into a goal. It almost looked like Logan was going to be able to get a goal off of it. But to me, the microcosm of who your team is right now is that Carcone hit in overtime that stole a possession. And I know you gave up kind of a fast break going the other way, and that was the goal that was waved off because of the offsides. But that just, to me, was like, that's who the Mammoth are, man, just laying it all out and trying to create as much havoc as possible.
There's a couple shifts where we got kind of pinned in our zone, and the difference is in playoffs than regular season is everybody's laying out trying to block shots, and they're doing whatever it takes to get the puck just out the other side of that blue line. And, there was like 4 or 5 times our guys were just sprawled out, just trying to block anything they could, trying to chip it out, find a way, in desperation mode to get that puck on the other side of the line. So that's the greatest part of our team is that the first, the second, and the third efforts and the will to kind of, put yourself in harm's way for each other it's been impressive. They're an unbelievable group and only getting better.
With majority of the play in the series, like I saw number 45% in the offensive zone for the Knights. Veggie's done a really good job with a ton of volume. It looks like from a layman's perspective, but comment on your thoughts on how Veggie's playing in the series.
Well, they do a pretty good job of pinning us a lot of times in our zone, just the way that they play. I think they don't get a lot of offense off it. They just accumulate a lot of time in your zone. So you just really have to kind of be patient and use your energy wisely and find ways to get a hold of the puck. But, Veggie's done a great job. He's made some huge saves for us. He's been a difference maker on the penalty kill too. So you're not winning without good goaltending. Show me a good coach, I'll show you a good goaltender.
And you mentioned the penalty kill. You guys have been, I think at 11% in terms of a power play, but penalty kill after giving up that early one in the in game 2, you guys I think have killed the next 11 in a row. So you've got one side where you're just performing at a really high level, and then the other side that needs to pick it up a bit.
Yeah, and it's we missed a wide open net there. Michael Carcone had a chance at greatness there early on, in the first, you get that goal, you're at 20% on the power play. So there's just a few things that haven't kind of clicked for us, but, we got to go back and be better. You're not winning a playoff series unless you're good on the PP and PK, and we got to be better on the power play. And so we had great chances, but they were one and done, and we've got to find ways to kind of have more of a play that you're in their zone more often, you're occupying their offensive zone, and you're not, going down the ice and having to break it out 5 times in the power play. So I think there's some adjustments there we can make to become a better team on the power play. But I like our overall game. Like I said, it's a pretty close series. It's a punch in the face competition. It's a physical competition out there. It's been great. I mean, you got to respect them. They're a good team, and so are we. And it's going to be unbelievable going into Vegas here and see if we can steal a win out of there.
So after all of the drama, the roller coaster you've been on, it's essentially 0-0 and a best of 3 series. What's the message to these guys, or do you even need to say anything to these guys? It's just they know the enormity of the situation they're in.
Well, you don't teach a baby shark how to bite. They just know how to bite, and our guys know they know the situation pretty well. They're pretty aware we got to go in there and play our best hockey of the year. And they know Vegas is going to come and try and punch us in the face. So it's certainly at this time of the year. Coaches have their mantras and everything they talk about, but our players know this is where you want to play. These are the big moments. We play 82 games a year. To get into this spot, to play, and these are the big moments. Play your best hockey at this time of the year, and it's. I think our players. I think the other thing about it, they've wanted to be in this situation so long. I think they've actually enjoyed our fan base and just playing in playoffs in front of our home crowd and being in this tight series. It's been a fun experience for our group.
So when I ask you this isn't trying to rub salt in the wound. I'm just trying to learn more about the sport and about, differing styles. Had you gotten to 3-on-3 with your speed, do you think you would have had the advantage in that second overtime? Yeah, for sure. 100%. They wouldn't. I don't think they're going to touch us in the 3-on-3. It's a different game in playoffs. It's 5-on-5, and you have to play a certain way. And it definitely is a different game. But 3-on-3, we ended almost every 3-on-3 in our favor during the course of the year. We're pretty fast team that has some impact 3-on-3, and it happens pretty quick for us too. So would have loved to see them go 3-on-3. It's a suggestion you might want to put in the commissioner's box. So when you and again, I know that I know your answer to this probably, but I feel like I have to ask. It felt like Hayton's getting close. McBain, we're not sure of. Any updates you can provide on those guys? Well, they're all getting close. This time of the year, you never know. It's day to day. They're everybody's skating. Everybody's getting close to playing. So we'll see for the next game what we do in Vegas. But that's good news for us. Because you never know, it's a violent physical series out there, so you never know when someone's going down, and our boys are close to coming back here. We have a show favorite, and it's Yamamoto. Yes, by the way, he's our guy. The pass he threw last night, he wristed that thing across. I mean, the dude's incredible. He makes plays all the time. Yeah, I loved how physical he was for his size and the amount of force that he has impact with on his hits. He's been unbelievable. He's probably one of the team favorite guys. Everybody loves him just because he plays with such energy and such intensity, and he plays hard. I mean, I think he had 8 or 9 hits last night, and he was an impact player for us. Well, it's interesting because I've got my 14-year-old son, and he's he wants a jersey, but he doesn't want to be like, he doesn't want to be the guy that wears the Tom Brady jersey. Like, he doesn't want the Cooley jersey because he wants more of a guy that shows he knows about the team. It's real easy to get the Cooley or the Gunther jersey. And so he's like, I think I want to go Yamamoto. And I'm like, well, let's wait till our guy Bill figures out what he wants to do in the offseason. Then we'll decide whether we're going to make that investment or not. That's good. You never know. I've walked into some rinks and I've traded a few of the guys, and you see their jersey and you're like, oh, geez. It's a terrible feeling as a GM. I traded that guy. So anyway, no pressure there, Bill. Hey, we appreciate it though. Thanks for your time. Go get that. Go get that game 5, and let's get it back here to Salt Lake for Friday. Yeah, I appreciate your support, boys. Great talking to you. You got it. There he is, Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth. Great.
Great guy. I love his chuckle.
Yeah, I know. He's the best.
And he, is competitive and as bad as he wants to win. He does. He understands that there's a lot of really good things happening right now development-wise, and then a ton of dudes in the hopper ready to come in and add to what's already happening. But the biggest piece, they're making they're building a culture, and it's awesome when you go to the playoffs while you're still getting that culture instilled, and I love how hard they play.
All right, we'll take a final break, come back, wrap things up, set the stage for Jake and Ben coming up next right here on The Zone.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single? Do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series. Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeCaux, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nice. A little free bird as we shut down the show for a Tuesday. Sky Gerard alongside the coach, Tim LeCaux. This is a good way to send us off here.
Dave Rowe's favorite song.
Really? I could see that.
If it was on, it was like, nope, bar the talking.
Everybody shut down.
Turn it up and
be
let
quiet.
me listen.
And then we get back to business. But it's a long song,
This
too.
needs to become a thing.
Yeah. All right. Big thanks to everyone who helped us out. Bill Armstrong, not easy, but that's the thing I love about Bill. Win, lose, that dude is even kill. He's always happy to come on. He's always happy to laugh and say, all right, yep, you know what? That one got away from us. That's all right. We still have Game 5, and we'll have Game 6. So you got essentially a game tomorrow and then a game on Friday, and hopefully the Mammoth can go 2-0 and punch their ticket into the next round.
Man, can you imagine? Second round of the NHL playoffs.
Especially if you're playing Anaheim, too.
Right? You might just find yourself in the Western Conference Finals without even knowing it.
Jeez.
But a lot of things have to happen before that.
Yeah, it would have been very, very nice to get that third win last night.
90% chance of winning the series if it went there.
Yeah. All right. So, by the way, you and I and Lloyd all had the Mammoth winning. I was getting pretty fired up though.
Yeah, it was looking good for you
because it was 4-3, and that's the score I had, and had the Mammoth just been able to hang on, I'd be puffing out my chest pretty good today.
I would say you were the closest though. I mean, I called the OT, but the wrong way. I don't know why I felt OT yesterday. I just did.
You were spot on that one. Lloyd was way off on everything.
Well, had they not scored those first 3 goals, it would have been looking good, 4-0.
Lloyd had it 4-1 Mammoth. I had it 4-3 in regulation. Coach had it 3-2 Mammoth in OT. And tomorrow we'll give you our thoughts on what's going to happen in Vegas.
Car crash.
I
think they can win, though.
I absolutely think they can.
I got some confidence listening to Jay talking about past matchups, the fact that we shut them out down there. But the playoffs, man, you got to just go do it.
And Bill seemed genuinely in some good vibes there. I know you got to put on a good face for your team. Like they feed off your team feeds off your coach and your GM. If they're sulking, if they're kicking the dog around and just upset and thinking the world's coming to an end, your players are going to feed off that, right?
Yeah, I mean these are huge. You want to win, but you got to keep it all in perspective, knowing. For a lot of these guys, it's their first chance in the NHL playoffs. So there's obviously really good things happening. You want everything, but you've been a sports fan long enough. You don't get everything all the time.
Nope. Hey, make sure to join the show on Friday from 10 to 2. We'll be at Next Gen Motors, their grand opening at their brand new location in Linden, 590 North State Street. Again, that is Next Gen Motors. Good family friend of Coach Lacombe. Well, actually, just family.
Family.
Right?
And friend.
And friend, yeah.
And former boss, and hopefully the guy that feeds us a bunch of food on Friday.
Oh, see, now we're talking.
I'm going to make sure they've got a spread for us.
Let's go. All right, coming up next, Jake and Ben have you till 6 o'clock, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life's sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the chase for the cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.